Hi, this is Ian Wright. This is just a little podcast called Reconnecting with Nature, Dynamics of Stillness. It's just something that's been in my head the last couple of days, and especially this morning. And I just wanted to talk about nature and our need to reconnect with nature and how important it is, actually. It's like, for me, it seems that our disconnect with nature and our lack of connection and lack of understanding that we are nature. It's not us and nature. We are part of nature. Nature is one with us. We connect through our senses to nature, and nature connects to us, be it flowers, trees, animals, wind, sky, weather, mountains, sea. We are part of it. And it's such an obvious thing, but something in the last, say, 300 years has created this disconnect, which is dangerous, I think. And I know everyone says this, but it just was. I was just thinking and feeling it out this morning, and the old Taoists and Taoist practices would be very much, and I'm very interested in those, in reconnecting and connecting with nature, tuning into different elements in nature and allowing those feelings and energies and forces to work with us and through us. The Native Americans, or the America's first people, the tribes would have a very strong connection, and actually all of the indigenous Aboriginal tribes of the earth were deeply connected with nature. And the Native American people would, they would talk to a tree or a plant and, call the plant grandfather or grandmother. They were intimate family, and they would feel that loss, and they would use that very strongly in their herbalism, because the herbs would connect very strongly with them. And I personally, in my work, very much connect with nature. I've created wildflower essences, etc., etc. Somewhere along the Western way, and we can all blame Descartes and Western philosophy, separating mind and matter, God and man, etc., etc. But I think it was a motivation in the Industrial Revolution, technology. Of course, the birth of technology they've all slowly disconnected us, generation by generation, from nature. And I think it's starting, of course, to become dangerous, because, you have certain politicians who are saying, actually, we're not creating any problems with, the world in terms of climate change, etc., etc., where the overwhelming body of evidence is saying that. And, we all have noticed these peaks and troughs in the weather, and it's very hard not to connect that with the way we have manipulated nature, the way that so many species of animals have been lost, and plants, etc., that man, as opposed to being part of nature, has used nature as a commodity. And I'm sure, in the grand scheme of things, if you look at the whole kind of Gaian theory of the earth, that the earth maybe mankind will, be partially destroyed by earthquake, hurricane, blah, 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 and things will start again. But at the moment, because we have consciousness of nature, we are actually, by default, I think, stewards of that. So there's a responsibility there, and we all have difficulties with that. But my theory about my thinking and my feeling about this is, the first thing, in order to, in a way, to be aware of that disconnect with nature and to ameliorate that and to reconnect with nature and actually take responsibility for her we have to reconnect with her and be attuned to it. And I've run over a lot of series of years courses, especially around repatterning and redeveloping our sensory awareness and our senses. And it's through our senses that we connect with nature. And our senses have become shut down. I've talked about this in previous podcasts, and I will talk about this a lot more. I'm going to write a book on this later. But on the courses that I used to run, I just wanted to start doing a series of very simple techniques to start reconnecting with nature for anyone who wants to have a go at this. This morning I was out there meditating, and then I was connecting with the trees and the plants and the valley and the whatever, and it's a very lovely thing to do. But we'll come to the first thing to do, I think, and I've done this on a lot of courses, is I'd take the guys out and we would go, because all the courses I used to or have always run are always in very natural places, very wild places where people can really kind of tune in and become reconnected to nature. And actually this is very important in developing sensory awareness when you're coming to becoming a practitioner and developing your palpatory skills. I think for me it's very important to actually reopen our senses and our sensorium, I think, has been shut down. First thing, very simple thing is, and this is what we're going to do today, is to go out and just to be in a natural place, which is quiet, which is not disturbed very much by other activities of mankind. So nature can kind of be a little free and is not running away from us. And just simply to find a quiet place, possibly slightly kind of immersed, within a scrub or a tree, at the base of a tree, just sit quietly and be. And you need to do this for minimum 10 minutes. 10 minutes it takes about before nature starts to come out again. And it's just the most magic, simple thing. And I'm sure it's something that children have always done. And it's one of those things that we've forgotten to do. So you sit there quietly, turn off your phone, no noise, don't move, gently connect with the softness of your breathing, quieten your senses down, and in some ways bring your energy in so you're not projecting it all over the place. The more your energy is contained in your body, the quicker nature feels comfortable to come out. And it's a most beautiful thing. So after 5-6 minutes, it's like nature was hiding from us and it starts to come out. The little birds, the songbirds start playing around, or the small mammals or the insects, etc., they start to almost come out of hiding, because our energy is so strong, and we forget how strong our energy is when we quieten it down and come into ourselves. It's like nature starts to breathe again, and all the flora and fauna literally wake up again, and it's a magical thing and beautiful. And nature comes to you, literally, comes to you, little whatevers find you, like a squirrel or whatever, they start to do their thing around you, and they're not hiding from you anymore. And the wonderful thing about that is, because when our energy is contained within us and it's quiet, and we're in this quiet, tranquil space, nature isn't frightened of us, and we go on our first stage of connecting with it and becoming sensitive to it. Anyway, enjoy that, try that. It's such a simple 5-minute thing to do that I'm sure we all did when we were children, but it's beautiful. Anyway, I wish you well.